Hello, this is Geeks Assembled, and I'm here with Lee, and we are going to discuss a 2014 or thereabouts animated Star Wars animated series called Star Wars Rebels, and we're talking about the first season of it, and it's like 15 episodes, 16 episodes long, and it is quite a cool piece, and it begins to bring sections of the prequels, the three prequels, and the Clone Wars series, and it includes characters that basically are starting to be completely fleshed out in this series. There are some of the Jedis that actually were that's one Jedi. This guy survived Order 66, and he's just a great Jedi master, and he meets up with this kid who ends up being his Padawan learner, his apprentice, and it's fun, and it's because it tries to weave the whole Star Wars story together, and really begins the rebel fight that Leia and her father and everybody, Mon Mothma, it begins to tell the story of how all that stuff is coming together against the Empire. Pretty cool. And I strongly recommend people having a watch of it, because it is really, really good. And it has a lot of good characterization, and it's this Dave Filoni is really doing a blessed thing with the Star Wars franchise. He knows how to fix and to grab from different parts of the story, the legends that all got retconned with the sequel trilogy, and the prequels, and some of the stories, and some of the other stuff, and just gathering it all and mixing it together and producing. Anyway, it's a good story. So, Lee, what'd you think? What are your opening thoughts on the first season of Star Wars Rebels?
Well, I've never watched them before, so I sat down this week and watched the 15 episodes of the first season. The thing what hit me, as soon as I was watching the first episode was, I'm not a fan of this type of animation. This 3D animation.
Oh yeah, you were saying something about the difference between those in an earlier podcast we did.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, this period there was a hell of a lot of cartoon TV series coming out using the same type of animation, and they did it on. Say they've done it on this, they did it on a Batman one, and stuff like that. And I don't know. I just, at least it's not as bad as the Doctor Who Web of Fear 3D animation. I can say it's better than that, because that was bloody awful. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of this type of animation. So, but I stuck with it. I sat through the full season, and halfway through you forget, because the stories, the writing, and the voice acting outweighs the crappy animation for me now. You know, if you get involved with the story, you sort of try and put the animation to a side. I just thought the story, the 15 episodes in this, the stories were brilliant, as you said, and you get some great guest cameos popping up through the episodes. You know, you get C-3PO, R2D2, you get Lando Calrissian, Grand Moff Tarkin, which I was over the moon because I love Peter Cushing. You know, so that for me, I did like, and also as well a take of a new Padawan being trained as in the of the Jedi. Ezra is his name, isn't it?
Yeah.
And also that's sort of like taking what Luke started in the original, bringing that back and training this kid up. And then you've got the crew of misfits, really, haven't you? I can't remember the characters' names now. So hold on. You've got
Sabine Kryze, or Sabine Wren.
Yeah.
And then there was Kanan Jarrus, who was actually his name is Caleb Doom, and he was in the opening of Bad Batch, and then there was Zeb Aurelius, who was the big burly monster guy. He was great.
He's sort of like I know he isn't, but he's sort of like the Wookiee of this team, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they kind of made fun of that when they had him arrested as a Wookiee.
Hairless Wookiee. And then you've also got Chopper, the droid.
Yeah.
That's full of character, that is.
Yep. Voiced by Dave Filoni.
Yeah. So it's the stories what they call it, and there is a story arc all the way through this. Is it the Inquisitor, who's given the job of just finding the Jedi and killing them. A great character, a great villain. I think isn't he voiced by, is it Jason Isaacs?
Jason Isaacs, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it because, as I said, the stories pulled me in. Because it's anything for me anyway. Anything new for Star Wars for me, I get dragged in anyway. I'm always happy to sit through something new of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is a few years old now, but for me it was new. But yeah, I enjoyed this. So that's my sort of opening thoughts there.
So, yeah, the Inquisitor was great. It was a great sort of. So how did it go if it was just Vader and Palpatine? How did they kill all the rest of the Jedi who are out there? Oh, they had Inquisitors. Oh, great. Yeah. And they were force wielding, former Jedi, like, or part of the planet that spawned the Night Sisters in some way. I don't know how, but and then the Empire, how did they develop these tools, and how did the Rebel Alliance completely miss the construction and creation of the Death Star?
Yeah.
I mean, like that whole thing was amazing, and how important Lothal was to both the Emperor and Vader and and of course Tarkin and Grand Admiral Thrawn. And what's really cool is that the big nugget in the middle of the Ahsoka story that's coming up is going to be Grand Admiral Thrawn and maybe Ezra Bridger, because that's going to be the live action. And Lars Mikkelsen, Matt's brother, I think, or whatever his name is. Anyway, he played the Grand Admiral, and yeah, Ahsoka Tano, played by Ashley Eckstein, a really great actress in her right. And Clancy Brown played Ryder, but that's coming up a little later. And Lars Mikkelsen, yeah, that's right. And then David Oyelowo played Agent Callus, and D. Bradley Baker. And D. Bradley Baker took over from the other guy who is now doing Boba Fett in and all the clones in the Bad Batch and in the Book of Boba Fett. Anyway, that's interesting too. D. Bradley Baker plays all the clones, and then and the main cast of this thing was Dave Filoni as all these characters, all these stormtroopers, all these other people. He just plays all these people in this. And Taylor Gray is Ezra Bridger, and really only plays that, but Vanessa Marshall plays Hera Syndulla and a bunch of other characters also. And then Freddie Prinze Jr. plays Kanan Jarrus and all these other stormtroopers and everything. So, I mean, it's basically like a Big Finish in the fact that all these other characters are played by the cast. The main cast covers all these other bases and in the storytelling. And I enjoy that. I like that because I can't always tell who is who. And even though they have really, remarkable voices, they are really remarkable acting talent. So you won't be able to tell who's who unless you have a roll sheet, while you're watching it. Anyway. Fantastic. And then Zeb Orrelios, Steve Bloom plays all these other characters as well. And so that is a remarkable thing about this Star Wars Rebels, is that in 4 seasons you get a lot of fan service and a lot of
one of the episodes is where they go to the Jedi temple. You don't see him, but the voice of Yoda is this guiding spirit for Ezra while he's in there.
Yeah.
It was just great to hear Yoda.
Yeah. And Yoda voiced by Frank Oz in everything. So that's the fun thing about Yoda.
And I love Ezra's homemade lightsaber.
With a gun attached.
With the gun, yeah. And Keenan says, "Well, why didn't I ever think of that?"
Yeah.
There's a character, a freedom fighter character, Counselor Gal Travis.
Yeah.
Now, him there, that's him there.
Yeah.
David Niven.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
But yeah, well, I looked it up as well, and it was they based it on David Niven.
Oh well, yeah. I didn't know that, but boom.
I didn't know that because until I saw the character, and I thought that's very similar to David Niven. So I went online and I had a look. Oh yeah, yeah. Admit that they did design it to look like David Niven.
That's so great. And what's great about Gail Travis is that he's like, he's the voice of the rebels, and then all of a sudden you find out that he's just working for the
He's a
Empire.
backstabber.
Low blow. Oh my gosh, such a low blow.
The hooks have just been pulled away from him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just good to get some fresh storage. Star Wars. And it's just amazing. You see, you get the sounds of the TIE fighters. You get the lasers. The firing of the lasers. Just exactly like the movies.
Yeah.
So
And Alex was, commenting about the animation, being, oh, that looks so good. It looks almost real. And that's what you get eventually is with these animations, is that, because the acting's so good, and because the sound effects are so good, and because you just get a glimpse of it, and it stands out as like, this is so close to reality. It's just fun that way.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the 3D animation now. I mean, I'm going to have to go back and what was the web one of
the Web of Fear.
The Web of Fear. Okay.
I bloody awful. I don't know how they thought the fans would be happy with that. I don't know.
All right.
And it doesn't do service to you, one of your favorite characters. I'm sorry to say.
I know. I've seen the stills of Nicholas, of the Colonel in that state, but what are you going to do? You can't complain. And a lot of animation is a little cringeworthy anyway.
Yeah.
But this one, the thing that really, really is remarkable about this is that it does look, it does give you some beautiful new world building stuff. They really fleshed out Lothal, and they really fleshed out some of these planets with super bizarre plant life and foliage and things like that, and animals.
I mean, one of my favorite episodes of this was I can't remember what planet it was called, but those creatures what only come out at night.
Oh yeah.
They were
the ones with all the teeth, the big flat smiles.
Yeah, they said the asteroids were blocking out the sun every so often, so they were creeping forward more. Yeah, that was a good story.
Yeah.
For me, it's all about the storytelling. If you can do a good storytelling, get the good voice actors, it takes away from me from the iffy animation. But,
yeah. And another cool like world building was that you actually got to see the Imperial Naval Academy.
Yeah.
And like you figured out that all these other people that were in the pits or are on the starships had to go through there and either became stormtroopers or became, all the important people.
Yeah.
And then they were separating the wheat from the chaff. Like the lower people would end up being stormtroopers, and the bigger and the more intellectual people would become sort of navigators and other people on the starships. And you just got the feeling that when they were trying to do that, and they were looking for Jedi children, also people who are more Jedi than not in the academy, was that they were basically cutting their own throat by killing these kids.
Look, also as well for an animated TV series. I mean, there's no blood and guts in this, but they don't hold back on the deaths.
Oh no.
There's a couple of characters what you sort of get to like, but they're on the baddie side. They're the ones who do all the tests for the academy. Testing all these young kids.
Yeah.
There's a bulky guy. He's a bit of a thicko, but
yeah,
he's a lovable character.
yeah,
But then in the next episode or the episode after that, the Inquisitor just kills them both while they're sat there in front of Grand Moff Tarkin.
yeah, right.
And you think, well, they didn't hold back there. I mean, you didn't see it, but you saw his saber come out.
Right.
They didn't hold back on. I mean, two characters are what people mostly thought were quite good characters.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, when Grand Moff Tarkin appeared, I thought, wow, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy the fact that this brings him in so much.
Yeah.
And they've really done the Peter Cushing a lot of justice in this. And
he only had one movie.
Yeah. This and in Rogue One, they gave him so much more character. I enjoyed it too. And I enjoy when Vader shows up in this series, and I enjoy when R2 and 3PO are showing up. Isn't it? It's fun that the 3PO thinks he's still working for the Republic, and he's still he hasn't figured out that he's on the side of the rebels yet.
Yeah,
he does eventually figure that out, because he doesn't give away the troop location once Luke and Han have got him sort of tied to their side.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it's great to see those characters voiced by Anthony Daniels, of course.
Yeah.
And then say Lando popped up in another episode.
That was great.
Being the rogue he is.
Yep. Yeah.
A lot of double crossing going on.
Yeah, and all those other pirates, a lot of them came from the the Clone Wars series and stuff. But they're interesting too. They've got a lot of they eat the scenery as necessary. It's good. Yeah, it's really good.
Great stories, really do. Yeah, and I'd say that for 15 episodes, they flew by.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I watched them, because I say if it weren't for this group, I wouldn't have watched it, to be honest. Because it's something. There's a lot of TV stuff out there what just flies by me, and I miss it. So
yeah,
I'm glad you suggested it.
Me too. But I mean, me too, with like the amount of stuff that flies by me. Yeah. I still haven't watched Fringe or Lost or any of these other ones that other people have lauded so highly. Oh, Primeval, I haven't watched that either, and I haven't watched all of Merlin yet. So I mean, there are these there is just so much stuff that you can't really get sucked into it so hard. Anyway, do you want to give it a final say and score?
Yeah, I will do. Yeah, as I said a few times, great storytelling, great voice acting, fantastic cameos.
Yeah.
Not so keen, as I say, on the 3D animation. I've got to be honest. I'll never be a fan of that.
All right.
I'm going to give it, just because I'm not a fan of the animation, I'm going to deduct I'm going to give it 9.
Okay.
9 graffiti-covered TIE fighters out of 10. And if you've seen the series, you know what I mean.
Sabine Wren is such a good artist, and she does sort of these Mondrian inspired pieces on the side of that TIE fighter. It's a really modern art piece of beautiful. And she is that is one of the things that comes up throughout all of this Rebels series, is the artwork that Sabine Wren and that the Syndulla family hold on to. It's all about the art, and then how Grand Admiral Thrawn is really a connoisseur of art. I mean, he's definitely a different kind of character than the run-of-the-mill Army people or Navy people. They build his character quite extensively. Anyway, I'm really glad that we watched it too. I'll give this 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 lightsabers with blasters in them, or lightsabers that are under construction, or those lightsabers that spin around that the Inquisitors have. That's cool that they could use them to fly. They could use them to do it all sorts of stuff. Yeah, throw them. Yeah, and so the lightsabers in this are really cool. And so I'm glad we watched this, and I just hope that you guys get a chance to watch it. If you'd like to, join us in watching what we watch, and go ahead and watch it yourself, or watch it with us and come join us on our podcast and talk about it a little bit, because we'd love to have you. All you got to be is 18 or older, have a camera and a mic on a device that is connected to the internet, Zoom, and also be really geeky, because I mean that's us. And we thank you for watching our podcast. We just ask that you'd subscribe to our channel and give us a like. It just helps us with the algorithm, because we don't get very many views, but if we get a lot of likes, we'll show up a little bit in the searches. And as you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you can get a little bit of a notice, and you'll get about 2 notifications a week, because that's what we're doing. We're doing about 2 different things every week. We do animation, we do stories, we do audio stories, we do video stories, we do TV series, motion pictures, all the way from the very earliest motion pictures out there, all the way up to, what we're going to do in the coming year is a little bit of Spider-Man, and a little bit of Doctor Strange is coming up in the future. So yeah, we're going to do some of that, and we'd encourage you to join us for that. And thanks for watching our video. Thanks for doing this with me, Lee. Have a great.
I love doing these.
Yeah.